Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Now, we all know that car manufacturers usually play it safe with their design. They want cars that appeal to the masses, that are practical, and that stay within the realm of what we consider normal. But every once in a while, one of them decides to completely throw caution to the wind and go a little crazy. Today, we're talking about those moments when car brands go absolutely crazy. Buckle up, because some of these are going to blow your mind. Part 1. The wacky world of concept cars. Let's start with the world of concept cars. These are often the ultimate expression of a manufacturer's creative vision, showing us what the future of cars could look like. But let's be real, sometimes these concepts go way beyond what we could ever imagine. In fact, some of them are so crazy, we can't even picture them on the road. Take the BMW Gina, for example. This car has a flexible body made from a special fabric, and it can change shape. That means the car can morph to become more aerodynamic, or even change the way the headlights and grille look. Could you imagine driving that on the highway? People would probably think you were in the future. And then there's the Toyota U-Box, designed to be a box on wheels. It's all about flexibility and customization. It's got modular seating and a whole bunch of tech. But it kind of looks like a rolling living room. But let's not forget the Mercedes-Benz F-15. This is a self-driving car concept with a lounge-like interior, and it almost looks like something out of Blade Runner. The design is futuristic, sleek, and everything you'd expect from a car that doesn't even need a driver. Now, are these cars practical? Not really. But they are fascinating and give us a glimpse into the insane world of automotive innovation. And honestly, who wouldn't want to see one of these on the road someday? Who knows, maybe we'll be driving cars like these in the near future. Part 2. Cars with designs that leave you thinking, what were they thinking? No, not all crazy car designs are the result of visionary thinking. Sometimes a design goes so off the rails that you can't help but wonder, what were they thinking? You know the kind of cars I'm talking about, those designs that might have seemed like a good idea at the time, but looking back, it just doesn't work. Let's take a look at some of the most head-scratching designs in automotive history. First up, the Pontiac Aztek, a car that at first glance might have seemed like a multifunctional SUV, and it's got a quirky personality. It was practical with a lot of interior space, which just proves that sometimes function and form don't always go hand in hand. Part 3. The Fast and the Furious, cars that push the limits of performance. Now let's shift gears and talk about performance cars. Those machines that go so fast, so furious, that you can't help but wonder if they were even built for real roads. Some of these cars push the limits of physics itself. They're so insane that they make even the fastest street cars look like they're standing still. Take the Bugatti Chiron. With its 1,500 horsepower engine and top speed of over 260 mph, this car is in a league of its own. Bugatti didn't just create a fast car, they created a car that redefined what we thought was possible. And then there's the Koenigsegg Jesko. This hypercar is engineered to hit over 300 mph, yes, 300 miles per hour. To put that in perspective, that's faster than most planes. This is the kind of car that makes you feel like you're living in a Fast and Furious movie. And if that's not enough, there's the McLaren Speedtail, which is the fastest McLaren ever made. With a top speed of 250 mph and a 0-60 time of just 2.5 seconds, this is a car that's practically a bullet on wheels. It's built for speed, and it looks like it could break the sound barrier. Part 4. The Real Weird Ones. Cars that should have never happened. Dave, the BMW Isetta. Known as the bubble car, this little three-wheeler has a front door that opens like a fridge. It's tiny, quirky, and definitely not what you'd consider a practical car. But hey, in the post-WR era, it was a cheap way to get around. Then there's the Smart 4.2, which is literally a two-seater. It's so small that you can practically park it anywhere. But I don't know about you, I'm not sure I want to trust my life in a car that tiny, especially with all the bigger cars on the road. And let's not forget the Renault Twizy. It's an electric microcar that's so small it's practically a go-kart. Sure, it's perfect for the city, but it's not exactly highway friendly. And with only a top speed of around 45 mph, it's more like a glorified scooter. Part 5. When things go too far, The car fails. That shocked the world. Finally, let's talk about the car failing. These are the cars that went too far. They took a wild idea, pushed it to its extreme, and, well, they crashed and burned. You know, the cars that seemed like a good idea at the time, but became infamous for all the wrong reasons. Let's start with the DeLorean DMC-12. This car is iconic thanks to Back to the Future, but in reality it was a complete commercial flop. The design was cool, but the performance wasn't great, and it suffered from reliability issues. It was a car that tried to be something special, but it just didn't stick. Then there's the Yugo. Oh boy, the Yugo was a disaster. Imported to the US in the 1980S as an affordable car, it became known as one of the worst cars ever made. Cheap, unreliable, and just not built well. Many people still joke about it to this day. And then we have the Chrysler PT Cruiser. It tried to be retro, but instead it ended up looking like a strange mix of a minivan and a muscle car that no one really asked for. Despite a unique look, it didn't have the performance or quality to back it up. A car that should have stayed in the past. Sometimes car manufacturers get a little too ambitious and things don't go as planned. But hey, at least they gave us something to talk about. So there you have it. Car brands have definitely gone crazy over the years, some for the better and some, well, let's just say they should have stayed in the drawing board. What's your favorite crazy car design, or what's the weirdest car you've ever seen? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell for more crazy car content. See you next time.